Welcome back to the Bearcat Tip-Off Talk podcast interview series, sponsored by Meyer Windows, Doors, and More. Meyer Window, Doors, and More. They're locally family-owned businesses that specialize in replacement window, patio doors, and front entry doors, offering a wide variety of product lines and professional installation at straightforward pricing. Visit MeyerCincinnati.com for a free estimate. That's MEYER Cincinnati.com for all your window and entry door improvements. Here's our interview with the University of Cincinnati Bearcat assistant coach and recruiting coordinator, Andre Morgan. Coach Morgan, this is Alex Meacham, man. What's going on?
What's up, Alex? Appreciate you guys having me on.
Man, I'm so happy to have you on because, we were talking about this. I think for Bearcat fans, they always like to get behind the scenes, find out what's going on. And with you, I've always had great interaction with you, man. You've always been stand-up, great dude with me. Remember the time I called you and I was like, hey, I want to bring Redman to practice? Remember that?
Of course.
You were like, wait, the rapper Redman? You were like, let me call Coach. Hold up. Hell yeah, Coach.
Of course, I remember that. That was awesome, too. That was a good
Wasn't that fun, man? That was a good time, man. Hopefully we can keep getting, more folks like that to come and stop by to practice. I know that means a lot to the players.
Yeah. They enjoyed spending time with Redman. Now, I don't know how much music they remember of his. I remember a lot of it. I think Coach Miller and definitely Coach Dollar does.
Yeah.
But it was still a really cool experience for him.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, Coach Morgan, you started your coaching career at Young Harris College. And just like many young coaches, you go on this coaching journey. You work with Coach Miller at UNCG back in 2016 through 2018, and finally ended up at the University of Cincinnati in 2021. Now, you are currently the assistant coach recruiting coordinator. Can you give Bearcat fans some insight into what an assistant coach and recruiting coordinator's responsibilities are?
An assistant coach for Coach Miller, we like to say we wear a ton of different hats. And so from a player development standpoint, we've got our hands on there. We want to make sure we're developing our guys on the floor and off the floor to the highest level. And so we've got a big role there on floor coaching, recruiting, a really huge role for an assistant coach. And I could list off all the other smaller tasks that we have to do on a day-to-day, but those are probably the biggest chunks of what we have to do as an assistant coach. And under the recruiting coordinator title, just organization. I'm actually in the car right now because I'm coming back from seeing our point guard, Keyshawn Tillery, in New Hampshire. And so, organizing travel for myself, for our staff, summer travel, trying to make sure everything's, as organized as possible so that we can be as thorough as possible from the recruiting standpoint.
How is recruiting in 2025 right now? I know the landscape has changed a lot. I recently heard Rick Pitino say I don't know if it was a podcast or a post-game interview, he says, I'm not recruiting high school kids anymore. Which, the dynamic has changed so much. In your eyes, how has it changed and how do you guys approach recruiting?
Yeah, recruiting's so different because I guess for years you felt like there was a blueprint, that you maybe had, at other jobs or that you had seen at, the job, being Cincinnati, that people had success here in the past. Now it's, a completely new playbook, I guess you can say. You kind of scrap all recruiting ideas. You've got, people like you just mentioned saying we don't recruit high school kids. Then you've got, people like us where we want to still, invest in high school prospects. We think we can find great value there. We think we've got two great ones coming in with Sean and Key. And so everybody's got a different strategy. I don't think there's enough of a, sample size up to this point to say this works or that works. I think it's, to each his own, as of right now in terms of how people kind of do the recruiting piece.
Last thing, and I'll pass it on to JT. In the future, do you see the portal changing?
You want my real answer? I have no clue. I'm not even gonna act like I know. If you told me, was it 5 years ago, that we would have a portal that guys enter, I'd be like, you're crazy,
No doubt.
And so
No doubt.
I would be crazy to act like I know what the portal is going to look like 2 years from now and 3 years from now. I do think we've got to continue to adjust as coaches. It's a fast moving industry right now, and so our ability to adapt and utilize the tools like the portal to enhance our team are important.
Well, let's say that you're sitting in the president's chair with NCAA. How do you change the portal to make
If I
improvements?
if I were sitting in that seat, I am not sitting in that seat, and I would never want to sit in that seat.
True.
They've got to,
That's a
you
tough
know,
seat to sit in, Dre.
that's a really tough seat to sit in with a lot of criticism maybe flying their way right now. I know they're working on trying to come up with solutions. It is probably a little chaotic, more chaotic than it's been in the past, in terms of the recruiting front with the portal and such. But whoever is sitting in that seat, and it will never be Andre Morgan, I wish him the best because that's a hard role right now.
JT?
All right. Yep. Hey, Coach, it's JT Smith here.
What's up, JT?
Nothing much, man. Doing all right?
I'm great. I'm great.
Good, good. Well, I'm gonna throw one at you right now. I don't think a lot of the Bearcats fans know that you word on the street is you hooped a little bit. A little college background, high school background. Um, tell us how that experience was, and maybe what that led you into coaching, and then describe your game as well. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a multi-layered
Okay.
question now.
All right. I'm gonna I'm gonna save the describe my game for the very last.
All right.
I did play. I grew up, around the game of basketball. I'm a coach's son, and so I was fortunate enough to be around high level basketball from the time I could remember, as a young person, and so fell in love with it there. I did play. I'm not nearly as good as our players. I promise you that. But I like to act like I am when I talk to them. you know, I got a lot of I got a lot of talk. I do not back anything up anymore. I can't move. I have aches and pains from my playing days, which I obviously miss. But in terms of your last question, who would I compare myself to? Um, I've been, oof, that's a really good question. A really, 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 really poor man's, like really poor man's Paul Pierce. That's what I would say. A really poor
Okay.
man's Paul Pierce. Yeah.
All
Yeah. I
right.
was a big Paul Pierce fan back in the day.
Very, very efficient.
Very
Efficient.
poor. Very poor.
Very
Very,
poor.
Yeah. Very poor. Yeah. I don't know how efficient
wait,
I was. I was very poor, Paul Man Pierce.
I think
Yeah.
you're underselling yourself, man. What you average, like what, 20 a game in high school?
I did. I did.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I,
It-
I I played on some really good teams, and they passed me the ball, and so I shot it a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
so, as a
Yeah.
as a person, you said a poor man's Paul Pierce, the person that grew up in that era, watched a lot of Paul Pierce. Did you talk like Paul Pierce on the court?
Because I work for Coach Miller, I'm gonna say no comment. I'm not gonna talk about how I used to talk, but I'm gonna say they did say I was a poor man's Paul Pierce. So you can take what
All
you
the
want
all
from
the way
that.
around.
Exactly.
All
Yeah.
right. I respect it. I get where you're going with that one. I get what you're
Yeah.
going. All right. All right. Neil, I'll pass it on to you.
Oh, awesome, Coach Neil Meyer here. Obviously, entering year 4 here at Cincinnati under Coach Miller. Just talk about what these 4 years have been like, and what are some of your favorite things to do around the city of Cincinnati?
Uh, Man, it's been awesome. It's funny. I was just telling my wife, I just got off the plane. I'm driving through Cincinnati, and this is a true story. I was telling her how much I love this place. I think I kind of share with you all. I get to visit all these different cities. I was in one of my least favorite cities yesterday. In the Northeast. I won't say the name of the city. Not trying to create any enemies, but it makes you appreciate Cincinnati. It's got a great feel, for city, smaller city. That offers big city deal, big city things. And so I've enjoyed my time here. My family loves it here, and obviously walking around with the Cincinnati on our chest every single day. Like I can't tell you how many people are like, "Go Bearcats," when I walked through the airport. My flight attendant said it to me while I was like drooling, and halfway asleep on the plane, which was really cool. And so, everywhere in the country that I traveled to, there's Cincinnati fans and people who love the city of Cincinnati like we do.
Awesome. And then you talk about your day-to-day operations, kind of being a recruiting director. Obviously, you're rocking the new Jordan sweatshirt there. Just talk about what it means for you guys to be back in Jordan and what it's doing on the recruiting trail and taking Cincinnati back to that new level there on the recruiting aspect.
I'll be honest. I've always enjoyed shoes. I think Meech knows that I enjoy shoes. And so, like, I feel spoiled every single day to be able to put these shoes on. And I think our guys would say the same thing. The Jordan shoes, the gear, the jerseys, it's unbelievable. It adds to the already big time mystique that we have here at Cincinnati. And our guys are really fortunate. They love it. They talk about it all the time. I think they actually just got a little Jordan drop off today. I won't disclose what it is, but Jordan takes really good care of us and our players, of course.
I might have to pull up the practice today then, huh?
Yeah, it's a real nice drop off. I'm not gonna lie, real nice drop off. Yeah.
Obviously, too, Coach, speaking of the Jordan aspects, we ask everybody this one when we have them on the show. What's your favorite Jordan shoe? Putting you on the spot a little bit there.
Ooh. You probably shouldn't have done it. I got a lot of favorites, so can I say 1, 3, 4? Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, that's perfectly
high
fine.
1s, 3s, 4s. Yeah, those are probably my favorites. Yeah, on a day-to-day, you usually find me in those.
Awesome. I'll throw it back to you, Alex.
Hey, Dre, is there a shoe that you've worn in a game while coaching, and you're like, I got to keep wearing these for good luck if you guys win? Are you one of those guys?
You cut out, Meech. Can you say it one more time?
Yep. I said, is there a Jordan shoe that you've worn while coaching in a game and you guys win and you're like, oh, I got to keep wearing those for good luck? Are you one of those guys? I know Wes is.
Hey, you know me well. Yeah. Let me say this. I'm gonna keep the trophy rooms on for a while. Yeah. I like how we're playing in the trophy room. So yeah, I think that's gonna be my go-to for a while. That's been my February shoe, and February has been good to us. So
for sure. You're listening to the Bearcat Tip-Off Talk podcast interview series sponsored by Meyer Windows, Doors, and more. Coach, last question that I have for you. Let's dive a little bit into the season. You guys start off the non-conference play, did very well, 10-1. Then you start conference play, lose the first 4 games, then win 2, lose 4. And you guys start to get your mojo back. Can you talk to us a little bit in terms of the losses in conference? What was going on in your eyes? And as a coaching staff, how did you guys address those problems and what was the solution?
yeah, so it's been almost like 3 different seasons for us up to this point. Obviously, you talked about the non-con where we played well, and then we didn't start league play well. I think a lot of that is attributed to the Big 12. It's a tough league. The opponents that we were going up against on a day-to-day, they aren't slouches. You're talking about top 25 teams. It feels like every week, and so we did have that stretch where we didn't play well. I give probably the most credit to obviously Coach Miller and the guys. Coach Miller came in one day and he said, "Look, man, let's just make this fun again. Like, let's push the reset button. Let's start it over for the second half of league play and see what happens." And our guys really responded to it. I know there's been a lot of talk about a game of dodgeball, which did happen. I know Coach Miller confirmed it, so I can also confirm it. It did happen, and it was really cool in that moment to see the guys enjoying each other. Them throwing, balls at my head, Coach Miller's head, and we were all having fun. Coach Dollar, Coach Adams, Coach Buckley, we were all out there with the guys getting, creamed with balls, but it was a good time. And I think in that moment they said, "Look, man, let's just have fun with this thing and see where it goes." And we've had a pretty good February from there.
Yeah, and a follow-up with that, the success thus far in the later part of the season of Josh Reed. It's been a pleasant surprise, right, for a lot of Bearcat fans. But probably as a coaching staff, you guys knew what Josh Reed was capable of. And I talk to a lot of young people out there, and I talk about staying the course. If you believe in yourself, right, stay the course, and you will get an opportunity. Are you ready for that opportunity? Do you put your head down and pout, or do you stay ready? Josh Reed has stayed ready. He's kept his head up. And I don't remember how many minutes he played last game, but I mean, was that in the 30s, fellas?
Yeah.
32.
And played well. Can you talk a little bit about Josh Reed?
I can't say enough good things about Josh Reed. It's, it's one of those stories that, hopefully at the end of the season, everybody will continue to reflect on. But I think there's more good basketball in front of him. And like you said, it was because of his mentality.
Yeah.
He's an everyday guy. He's the ultimate teammate in terms of, enjoying other guys' successes. And so, in turn, he's had other guys enjoy his success, as he's, kind of had a bigger role here as of late. And so, from a coaching standpoint, he'll be near and dear in terms of, what he's been able to accomplish. But I do believe he's got some really good moments ahead of him as well.
For sure. JT?
All right, cool. I'm going to change. Well, I'm going to ask another question, Coach Morgan. I talked to your father every game he shows up if I'm there.
That's my guy.
It's like, hey,
oh boy. Okay.
Hilarious. Like, man, me and him probably talk for like 5 to 10 minutes back and
forth. We get a thorough conversation with Mr. Morgan every time.
That's my guy.
Every day.
So my question to you is, who's the best hooper in your family? Because your dad was dropping some gems. I don't know who's the best one. Who would you say is the best hooper in your family?
Well, I talked about myself being a poor man's Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
I'm like Kobe great compared to him in his game. So if he referenced that he was better than me, there is no comparison. I love my dad. I love my family, but I will emphatically say I was the best baller in my family, and it's not even close.
Wait. You've been so humble and like politically correct thus far, and then all of a sudden, like, I will bust everybody in my family's ass on the court.
Hey, that's where I draw the line. I'm gonna keep it real, and I do hope my dad, somehow finds this little sound bite, because no, he couldn't hold me. No, there's no chance. No chance. There was no chance. We're not comparing my game and his. That's where I draw the line.
Was there any other siblings that were close?
Draw the line. That's where I become Kobe, and I'm no longer poor man Paul Pierce. I am Kobe when it comes to my family. Yes, for sure.
That mom mentality's coming out.
When did the line get drawn in the sand? That's what I want to know now.
Very young, JT, but about before 12. Before 12, and so I'm not gonna bore you all with stories, but I didn't get much competition from my family after that 12 13 range. Right. Yeah,
that's noted. That's noted. That's another talking point next time. Me and the OG bump into each other.
That's good. I hope he hears that too. I hope he hears that one.
Cool. All right, Neil, I'm gonna pass it to you, sir.
And then, Coach, obviously reflecting on the season thus far, obviously just talk about the challenges from year 1 to year 2 in the Big 12. Obviously, the Big 12 is a gauntlet in itself. Year 1, you guys come in, make a run in the conference tournament, get on the bubble, and then year 2, the league kind of shifts and goes from 18 games to 20 games. Talk about how challenging that is as you're still kind of adapting to this new conference. Talk about that challenge in itself for you guys as a staff.
Yeah, I mean, the American was a great conference, and then you enter the Big 12, and it's the best. I mean, you've got the best coaches, the best players. You play in front of the best fans, in my opinion, in the country. Yep. And so, it's I think we started off league play with, I can't even remember now, Kansas State at Kansas State. Then we had, help me refresh it, Arizona, Baylor,
Kansas, and Baylor were the first four.
Yeah, those were our first four. And our first four were crazy tough. These last three are going to be crazy tough, and so there's no you know easy gimme games in the Big 12. What you want as a player, as a competitor, and obviously as a coach, and so it's been a great adjustment. I mean, as a competitive dude, recruiting competitive guys like we have on our team, we love it. We relish it.
And then obviously, as a coach's standpoint, in the Big 12 being the best conference in all of college basketball, just get your personal thoughts on what might be a favorite venue of yours that you guys have coached in so far within this conference.
Oh, that answer is easy. Fifth Third Arena. I can't. Like when that place is rocking, like it's unlike any arena in the entire league. I mean, we've got the best fans. They're passionate. They're knowledgeable, and so I'm not even gonna, talk about another arena. It's Fifth Third all day.
That leads me into the next question because I was going to talk about the fans there for a second. Have you ever seen a smaller venue like Cincinnati make this transition to the Big 12 and still see 13-5 pack in every night supporting this team, whether it's win or lose through a struggle? Is it, as a coach, how does that make you feel to notice you, no matter what, you're going to pack out Fifth Third Arena with 13,000 fans each and every night?
I mean, to be able to walk out there and see the arena full every night, it's a dream come true for me, and it gives me chills every single time I come out of the tunnel. And I know that for Coach Miller, I know that to be the case because he tells it to me all the time. We're extremely fortunate, and we don't take for granted the support that we get here, and we appreciate it. And I can say the same thing for our players as well.
And speaking of the fan base, I don't know if you heard it or not, but Dylan Mitchell actually came out earlier this year and was like, it's good to be on this side of the fan base compared to when he was with Texas last year, because he said the fans were kind of like terrorized Texas a little bit when they came out there. It's like we're kind of scared because we didn't know what environment to come into. But just when you hear your player say that now that he's on the Cincinnati side of things, how unique is that to hear a player compliment the fan base in that aspect?
Oh, I mean, like I said, man, I get to travel to all these awesome arenas, but and of course I'm biased, but I do believe we have the best fans in the Big 12 and in the country, and so our guys who who obviously played at other schools know that as well, and my challenge would be to continue to come out because we've got a big one, obviously at Houston, this weekend, and then we've got a big one at home to kind of wrap up the season against Kansas State. So we need as many fans as possible, like always, to be as loud and as crazy as possible.
Awesome. That's all I got for you, Coach. Appreciate you taking your time.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Coach, before we get final question before we get off here. So one of the things that we do on the podcast, we talk about keys to the game, what the Bearcats need to do to win. So we want to know from you, going to play Houston, tough environment, really good team. Can you, Coach, give us one key to the game for the Bearcats to be successful and win against Houston?
Now, obviously, it's hard to give one key. So I'll give you one and give you a little extra, right? But I want our guys to just go out there and compete and enjoy competing. It's going to be a big time game on national television, obviously. Everybody's going to talk about our ability to defend. We've got to compete with them on the glass. We've got to score at a high rate, obviously, like we've been able to do recently. But at the end of the day, I think it goes back to what Coach Miller said, to start the second half of league play. Let's go out there and enjoying, competing together and see what happens.
I love that. Yeah. I love that because, I mean, you're going into Houston. It's one of the best teams in the league, and it's an important statement game. So going into that, being loose, enjoying the moment, enjoying the opportunity. So I think that's great. Well, one thing too, and JT Neal, you could add on anything to this, but one thing that I have seen, and I think there's a stat Neal brought up, when you guys score 80 or more, I think we're undefeated. Is that right, Neal?
Yeah, 9-0 this season when you guys score 80 or more.
You guys talk about that?
We do not talk about that.
My bad.
We do not talk about that. We ain't gonna put any pressure on scoring 80. What we'll do, like I said, man, we're gonna go out there and enjoy competing. It's gonna be an awesome environment. Obviously, they've got a good team. They're extremely well coached. But I like us going to Texas. I like where we're at mentally, physically, and let's tip it up and see what happens.
Yep. JT, Neil, you guys got anything else?
I'm gonna throw a nugget at you real quick. You don't have to answer this. It's just me saying it. I think Neil will verify it. When you guys shoot over, you get more than 60 attempts. I think you've only lost one game this year. So I'm just letting you know that.
Yeah. That's a good nugget. That's a good nugget. I may have known that as well.
All right.
You know, hey, Dre, you know everybody on the podcast thinks they're experts, so we're just throwing shit at you.
Yeah.
Like we know everything.
Just you all wrote down. That's all.
No, you all are great, man. I really, really, really appreciate you having me on. Enjoyed your questions, and I do want you to do me one favor. When you see my dad, you please let him know I'm the best hooper in our family. That would do me a great service.
I got you.
We got you, Coach.
Next time if he's in on the next home game, I got you.
No, I appreciate it, guys. I've got to run in here. We're about to start practice in about 20 minutes, so I got to run.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, Coach.
Okay, thanks, guys. All right.
All right.
You're listening to the Bearcat Tip-Off Talk podcast interview series sponsored by Meyer Windows, Doors, and more. Hey, fellas, that was a great interview with Andre Morgan. Great dude, man. Every time I go to a Bearcat game or I just see him, man, he's just such a real dude, man. You could tell that during the interview. Your guys' thoughts?
Yeah. I'll let you go, Neil.
I would say that too. He's always one that's always very outspoken, always checks in on you. And you can see where he gets it from too. His father's the same way. We always enjoy our conversations with his father before the game, and they're exactly alike. Honestly, you can definitely see the similarities and the characteristics. But man, his father and him, respect to both of them. They always check in on us, always ask us how we're doing and stuff. So just two great personable people, and Coach Morgan and his father George as well.
Nah, for sure, man. Both of them, yeah. Coach Morgan, man, real cool guy, man. Goes out his way to say, to talk and let us know stuff here and there. So I thought that was a real good interview. And then, his father, George, is a super cool dude, man. So I definitely got to relay the message, man. He said he's the Kobe. He said he's the Kobe of the family. So I got to let him know. Let him know for sure.
Pops is going to have a rebuttal.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Like, I'm talking about this. Like
that's gonna be a 15-minute conversation right there.
I'm gonna be laughing on that kind of level because it's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, for sure. You have to give us an update on that.
Yeah,
give us an update. We want to thank everybody out there for listening to the Bearcat Tip-Off Talk podcast interview series sponsored by Meyer Windows, Doors, and More. Meyer Windows, Doors, and More. They are your local family-owned business that specializes in replacement windows, patio doors, and front entry doors, offering a wide variety of product lines and professional installation at straightforward pricing. Visit MeyerCincinnati.com for a free estimate. That's MEYER Cincinnati.com for all your window and entry door improvements. Thanks for listening to the Bearcat Tip-Off Talk podcast interview series. Go Bearcats.